What's up, everybody? We back with another reaction, and we'll be reacting to, well, at least I'll be reacting to, SCP-1264, Resurrected Wreckage, Keter, Hostile Aquatic, SCP. I don't know if I've ever heard of this SCP. I've seen a lot of them. I read about a lot of them. Don't remember this one, but I guess we'll find out. So here we go. Oh shit. Wait a minute. I can't hear anything. God damn it. I'm gonna have to just change this because something is wrong. Oh, no, I didn't mean to do that. Hold on one moment. This is not what I want. Unblock. You know I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna just do this. Open this up. Because I can't hear the sound. I don't know why some of these I've downloaded, they didn't download with sound. Oh, like, is it coming up? Okay. Here we go. Oh, now it feels weird not having it over my ear because I want to be able to kind of hear myself. I might need to just...
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-1264. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1264 is located 75 meters...
Oh, no. Damn it. I thought this was going to turn up the audio. It restarted the damn video.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be looking at today is SCP-1264. Object Class, Keter. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-1264 is located 75 meters below the ocean surface of the South Pacific at... It is to be held in place by 8 pairs of 10 kiloton deadweight anchors chained together and attached to SCP-1264.
Shit, serious. I guess Keter.
Gamma 6 deep feeders will be tasked with performing bi-monthly examinations done by remote submersibles in order to inspect the integrity of the anchors and chain. 450 naval contact mines will be positioned around, over, and under SCP-1264. The mines will be placed 20 meters from each other in order to sympathetically detonate in the event of a contact. Shipping lanes at aquatic anomalies, such as SCP-2467, will be diverted in order to avoid the containment area. Since detainment, SCP-1264 has exhibited no activity but still remains buoyant.
Amalgamation.
Description. SCP-1264 is an amalgamation of once derelict warships and various pieces of flotsam or jetsam that have been adhered together by organic secretions. The main body of SCP-1264 is made of 5 World War II-era warships that were used as target ships as part of the Operation Crossroads atomic bomb tests performed at the Bikini Atoll in 1946. The following ships that make up SCP-1264 were confirmed to have sunk after the tests: USS Saratoga, CV-3, Lexington-class aircraft carrier, Nagato-class dreadnought, Prinz Eugen, Admiral Hipper-class heavy cruiser, USS Lamson, DD-367, Mahan-class destroyer, USS Apagon, SS-308, Vallejo-class submarine, and various sections of a yard oiler, Y0160. Survey reports of the wreckage performed at the Bikini Atoll in 1954 showed a number of sunk ships missing from the lagoon. In response, the U.S. Navy built and sunk several dummy ships in their place in order to cover up any evidence of the missing original ships. The U.S. government then initiated Operation Castle under the guise of nuclear testing, but was actually intended for the purpose of creating sufficient nuclear fallout as to make the Bikini Atoll area uninhabitable. SCP-1264 was first documented on January 30th, 1959, 56 kilometers south of Cape Farewell, Greenland, when it engaged and sunk the MS Hans Hedtog during its maiden voyage.
Okay,
SCP-1264 shows only moderate corrosion and damage, in contradiction of U.S. Navy records on the individual ships. The centerpiece of SCP-1264 is the aircraft carrier, with several large jib cranes attached to its deck. The other ships are fastened to the sides of the centerpiece by means of hardened secretions. All of the ships are missing their superstructure or conning towers. Other flotsam and jetsam has been attached to fill in empty spaces between the ships and roughly makes up 12% of the SCP-1264's total mass. SCP-1264 is armed with various pieces of artillery, torpedoes, AA guns, and depth charges. However, only several pieces of artillery have ever been seen in use, which indicates that either the remaining are non-operational or there are insufficient resources to operate them. SCP-1264 spends most of its time underwater as a submersible. Above the water, SCP-1264 is capable of speeds up to 31 knots. SCP-1264 is maintained by a crew that has been designated SCP-1264-A. Each fit inside a U.S. Navy standard rubber diving dress and are equipped with a Mark V diving helmet and weighted boots. SCP-1264-A are headless humanoid entities closely related to sea cucumbers. See autopsy report. SCP-1264-A are also connected by a flexible arterial cord, roughly 90 meters long, that is in turn connected to SCP-1264's interior. SCP-1264-A displays a deep understanding of SCP-1264's mechanical and electrical systems. SCP-1264-A habitually performs repairs and maintenance with what is available within their designated areas. SCP-1264-A are characteristically slow, obstinate, and exhibit no real intelligence of their own. SCP-1264-A also secrete a strong adhesive through their gloves that acts as a waterproof sealant, binder, filler, and cement in order to maintain the structural integrity and buoyancy of SCP-1264. All of SCP-1264's steerage and weapon systems are operated by SCP-1264-A. In turn, SCP-1264-A is commanded by a single entity designated SCP-1264-1. SCP-1264-1's appearance is unknown, and the only physical evidence for SCP-1264-1's existence are the arterial cords that connect SCP-1264-A to the ship's interior. These cords are lined with strands of neural tissue that do not originate from SCP-1264-A. This indicates that SCP-1264-A is directly connected to a separate biological entity, or that SCP-1264-1 is actually the collective consciousness of SCP-1264-A. SCP-1264-1 has proven on numerous occasions to be a hostile and skillful tactician of naval warfare. SCP-1264-1 has been reported in some cases to transmit radio signals via ELF radio. To date, SCP-1264-1 has engaged civilian and military vessels and has sunk of them, though SCP-1264-1 has shown a preference for passenger ships over other vessels. After the destruction of a vessel, SCP-1264-A will then throw fishing nets on top of survivors floating in the water. These nets are then attached to the hull of the sinking vessel or an anchor so that it will drag down the net and its contents. Post-incident recovery teams using submersibles are unable to locate any corpses underwater after they are dragged to the bottom.
So they just drowned.
SCP-1264 was involved in a protracted engagement with Mobile Task Force Tau 11, can openers, and was effectively suppressed. In its impaired condition, SCP-1264 was then towed out under armed escort to its current containment area for indefinite detainment. Autopsy report
going out taking passenger ships and drowning people.
BPD 110094-678.
I was thinking it was taking them and replacing
decedent. SCP-1264-A1.
Suits.
Age, non-applicable.
But then is it a
Race,
headless?
non-applicable. Sex, non-applicable. Length, 177.0 centimeters. Weight, 111.3 kilograms. Location of autopsy, Research Site 45. Autopsy authorized by Dr. W. Hermes.
I guess they got the diving helmet, but they don't have any
clothing
heads.
or equipment. Mark 5 diving helmet. Standard U.S. Navy diving dress, rubber. Weighted boot. External examination. Multiple blast and fragment injuries to the chest and abdomen, including amputation of one of the lower extremities. There are multiple penetrating fragment injuries of the anterior thorax. Bilateral symmetry is present in the physical appearance. 4 extremities branch out from the central body, 2 upper and 2 lower. The upper extremities branch out again into 4 smaller distal appendages. This allows the subject to operate inside the suit by taking on a nearly humanoid form. History. Injured by explosive munitions. Gross description. Skin. A membranous epidermis and dermis are both present. A thin layer of calcified structures lies below the dermis and is made of isolated microscopic ossicles joined by connective tissue. Head and neck. Head is totally absent. Mark 5 diving helmet is only filled with seawater and detritus. The open neck actually serves as the anus, expelling waste into the helmet. Skeletal system. An endoskeleton made of reinforced calcareous rods, plates, and bulbs provides upright support to the body and extremities. These structures are not true bones as they lack marrow, nerves, endostome, and periostome. Structures are held tightly in place by the surrounding radial muscles. Muscle tissue. Tissue is dark brown in color and formed in a circular pattern around the endoskeleton. A water vascular system is present to allow elongation and introversion of the muscle tissue. Water is not actually used in the hydraulics, but rather a coelomic fluid. Circulatory system. Hundreds of miniature ampullae are present within the muscle tissues that pump the coelomic fluid. Phagocytic coelomocytes, somewhat similar in function to the white blood cells of vertebrates, are formed within the haemal vessels and travel throughout the body cavity via coelomic fluid. These coelomocytes also seem to be responsible for carrying the hemoglobin. Respiratory and digestive system. Oxygenated and deoxygenated coelomic fluid is circulated via the arterial cord protruding from the dorsal side. This cord
much
is
more
the
complicated
body's
inner
lifeline
workings
for
than I
both
thought they
oxygen
did.
and nutrition, similar to a fetus
First I thought it was
connected
just
to
an
the mother's placenta.
empty
Body cavity lacks gills
diver
and stomach.
suit.
The cord directly branches off into the intestines and major vessels once inside the body. Nervous system. Brain is completely absent. Nerve tissue stems from the thin notochord-like structure that is included in the arterial cord. Small eye spots are present on the distal upper appendages. Other comments. A system of interconnected glands fills the entire ventral thoracic cavity. These glands are responsible for secreting the specialized adhesive. Secretions are then pumped through the upper extremities and out the distal orifices. Other lab procedures. Toxicology, photography, X-ray, and microscopic examination. Disposition of evidence. Toxicologist, vitreous and fluids. Lead investigator, clothing and equipment. More custodian, body. Note, items not specifically stored in the Lab 62 vault are to be incinerated. Dr. W.H. Summary. Body exhibits strong physical and anatomical traits with echinoderms, especially Holothuridae or sea cucumbers. Though the body includes many independent systems, it is completely dependent on this cord for sustenance and direction. Control of the body is granted through the cord through some other intelligence, as it is evident how the neural pathway ends inside the body cavity but originates elsewhere.
A body.
The body should be considered as a physical extension of this intelligence. This entity must be made of the same anatomical characteristics as SCP-1264-A1 in order to utilize and manipulate these extensions. This entity, if it is in fact a singular consciousness, would have to be extremely adept to handling an enormous amount of input and output signals simultaneously in order to manage all of SCP-1264-A.
How many of them are there?
Mobile Task Force after action report.
1264
The
D2.
1264A.
SCP involved, SCP-1264. MTF involved, Mobile Task Force Tau 11. Date, March 11th, 1999. Location, 15 kilometers north from the coast of the Hawaiian island of Kauai. Preamble. Engagement is authorized after a cruise ship is attacked by SCP-1264. MTF Tau 11 can openers is dispatched to the area with 5 Pegasus-class hydrofoils, PHM-7 through PHM-11, and 1 Juliet-class submarine, CMS-3, from Marine Command 9. CMS-3 was standby and awaiting clearance from the PHM Rapid Response Unit in order to launch its P-500 missiles without jeopardizing civilians. Upon arrival of the PHM unit, the cruise ship was on fire and taking on water while listing steeply to port. SCP-1264A was seen from a large opening on the starboard side, throwing fishing nets over the survivors in the water. 1301. MTF Tau 11 PHM unit made contact with SCP-1264, while SCP-1264A attempted to ensnare the survivors. PHM-7 and PHM-9 then broke formation to engage SCP-1264A directly using their 76mm guns. SCP-1264A was quickly suppressed as PHM-7 and PHM-9 fired along SCP-1264's starboard hull. 1303. PHM-8, 10, and 11 fired their harpoon missiles directly into the stern of SCP-1264 from a distance of 750 meters away. SCP-1264 was hit and took damage to 2 of its rudders. 1304. SCP-1264's portside turrets all turned 90 degrees to their 9 o'clock position just before SCP-1264 rapidly dove into the water. Afterwards, underwater explosions and floating debris was seen trailing off to the west. PHM-7 and PHM-9 investigate. During this time, CMS-3 made positive radio communication with SCP-1264-1. See addendum. Behind the remaining 3 PHMs, SCP-1264 partially resurfaced, just enough to expose its portside turrets. SCP-1264 was positioned with the PHM's starboard hull directly in its line of fire. 6 of the port battery's 140mm guns fired into the 3 PHMs, effectively destroying them. PHM-7 then relayed to CMS-3 that SCP-1264 was clear of the civilians. CMS-3 then launched 2 P-500 missiles targeted at SCP-1264. 1311. SCP-1264 then began to move towards the capsizing cruise ship and fired 2 of its 410mm guns at the exposed bilge keel at a distance of only 175 meters. The ship exploded and splintered into several sections. SCP-1264 then plowed through the floating debris. The P-500 missile's active radar was unable to distinguish SCP-1264 from the wreckage, and they missed the target. 1313. SCP-1264 launched Mark 14 torpedoes at PHM-7 and PHM-9. SCP-1264 collected the remaining nets of ensnared passengers and dove underwater for a second time. Both PHMs easily outmaneuvered the torpedoes. CMS-3 was then ordered by Marine Command 09 to track SCP-1264 with sonar and pursue. The remaining PHMs attempted to retrieve any survivors left in the water that were able to avoid the nets. Only 19 of 215 bodies were recovered from the scene. 1510. CMS-3 lost contact with SCP-1264 55 kilometers northeast of the incident. Addendum. During this incident between 1306 and 1310, CMS-3 made positive radio communication with SCP-1264-1 over ELF radio signals. The following is the audio recording between the operator and SCP-1264-1 after its initial dive. Playing log now.
Deep gargling noises.
Unknown contact. You were ordered to resurface or be destroyed.
In order to resurface.
You copy. Unknown contact. Resurface or be destroyed. Do you copy? You have 2 minutes to resurface. This is an ultimatum. Do you copy?
Sustain gargoyle for the next 2 minutes.
Respond.
Preparing to resurface.
At this time, SCP-1264 resurfaced and destroyed 3 of the PHMs.
Drown with me. Okay.
End log. Post-encounter summary. The survivors were debriefed and given Class B amnestics before being handed over to the US Navy. A cover story was distributed through the media that the cruise ship sunk after suffering a catastrophic engine fire, which killed almost all of the passengers. A false investigation of the accident was also initiated in order to suppress growing public suspicion. On June 8, 1999, SCP-1264 was reported and photographed by a fishing trawler in the Indian Ocean. Photos were intercepted and revealed that all damage done to SCP-1264 during Incident 1264-D2 had been repaired. Additional spending was later approved for MTF Tau 11 for expanding its fleet to include aerial support, acquisition of heavier armament, and installation of passive sonar buoys at strategic locations. End of file.
Cause still,
I would like to give a special thank you to Zargaran, Oh Crap Guy, Rowan O'Brien,
oh crap, guy.
Longinus, Ordus Malleus, James Saba, Hello,
I wonder if the
your
thing
local
is like
Foundation agent, Zazapan, Dane Dingus.
Ding dingus. Okay, I wonder if the thing is like just I don't know if a spirit is what I would say, but like I guess yeah, kind of like a spirit, because it started out as a bunch of warships, and that were brought together by some entity that fused all these ships together, and they said you could see whatever it is holding these things together, and it's like still in I don't know, I want to say wartime. Why did the camera start doing that? I hate when the camera start lagging like that. Starts like taking out people, because like I said, it wants passenger ships because it seems to enjoy taking the passengers off those ships, because it ensnares them and then dives and drowns them. So that's why I was like, is it replacing its crew with new people? Maybe those suits don't or maybe they need, no, I guess the suits will last because it's not replacing the suits, the diving suits. Maybe it needs the people to sustain itself, because it's feeding those whatever's in those suits. It said what it was, but it's a lot of stuff is in those suits. It needs sustenance of some sort, so that would indicate that the thing that's providing the substance needs substance. And I was like, I wonder if the people are providing that, because then why, even if you sink in the ship and then you ensnaring the survivors that are in the water in nets and then dragging them down in the ocean and drowning them, and even the things like drown with me. So it's like I wonder if that's why it's using those people for that. I can't imagine just doing that, just drowning them. But okay, that's it, because even they said they didn't recover any of the bodies. They only recovered the 19 bodies that they were able to get before the 1264 was able to get them before it dived. So out of what is it, 215 or something like that. So I feel like gotta be using, if it's feeding sustenance to these suits that has a working biology inside of the suit, inside this diving suit. I think that the people that it's taking is eating them or something, or sucking it out of them to keep to sustain itself, so it can sustain them, and then those things sustain it by repairing it whenever it's damaged and stuff like that. And that's another thing I think is tearing up those ships, because they need materials to repair itself. So that's why it's attacking ships and then attacking passenger ships. So I guess it can kill two birds with one stone, is that we get humans to eat and parts from the ship, because those ships are very large usually. But that was good. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed my reaction one. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up button down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're here. Hit that bell if you want to be notified when I upload new videos. Comment down below, share this video. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.